Alright, so I told you guys I was saving the roof walk till kind of the end, once I get all the grime and everything around the top. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate to you guys a really cool technique you can try on these roof walks. And I don't know if I've demonstrated this before, but basically you take your finger, support it, you take a Q-tip. In this case I'm using a rather roughed up Q-tip to do this, and I'm going to go in and I'm just going to start adding some random little scrapes and scratches and gouges right through that paint, all that clear coat, down back to that shiny bare metal color that's on this roof walk. And I'm doing this in these higher traffic areas, obviously, and I'm not sure what actually causes this, other than, you know, extreme contact with the surface on the roof here from people walking on the top of these roof walks. I'm assuming that's what it does, but you'll see this on a lot of older cars, even some of the newer ones that get repainted, where they might repaint some of the bare metal. That metal quickly gets re-exposed once these things get some decent traffic on the roof. You'll get these little areas where just the main color starts to chip off and you're down to bare metal. Okay, so once you do that, then what you do is you come in with a little bit of the oils and you just highlight some of the seams in between these panels to make it look like a little bit of fresher rust or something like that, and just get some like color variation. Basically that's what I like, is the color variation here. You can see I've done this throughout the roof walk except on this one side, and it's coming along pretty well. If you actually look from the distance, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It's a neat little trick you can try on these roof walks, and it looks very good and very nice for a modern covered hopper. Here we are currently with the car. It's really starting to come along, and within 10 hours we pretty much have the car practically done, other than some other detail stuff. You can see the patchwork looks really good now that it's all rusted up. Here's the ends with all that oil. Most of this oil is still drying a little bit. On this side here, it's pretty much the same, but you got lots of rust, lots of good rust coming down from the panels and things like that. So it's all looking really good. The next step here will be to do all of the salt spillage, and I'm going to do some bleeding on the lettering here on the placard to make it look a little bit streaked. Also, if we look at the base of the car, you'll notice I did the patching like I said, and all I did for this was I literally took a liner brush like this, took some white paint and painted around the data to make it look like it was repatched, re-stenciled, that kind of thing. I also reinstalled the trucks, got those weathered, and then I put the safety striping on the fresh black patches. Kind of used another photo of a different car for the patching, and then I did the patching with the new data there on the end too. I also did the weathering on the underbody, finished that up with the rust pitting and everything, so it's all looking really good. And then the same on this side. So again, all looking really good. I'm really happy with this so far. It's really coming along, and honestly very quickly. There's all that fresh rust coming down on that patching. It looks freaking awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this aside for a couple hours, and then I'll come back and we'll start doing the streaking of salt. We'll start from the top and work our way down the sides, and then I'll cover some of the powder work on the underbody. So I'm going to be using some titanium white water mixable oil, again by Winsor & Newton. I put a little bit on a paper, and I have again my flat soft bristle brush here, and I'm going to be using this to apply the paint in between the roof walk and the hatches. And I like to load up my bristles. I don't dilute this. I just pack it in to these areas like this, and I use kind of a scrubbing motion to go in here, and I'll start spreading this paint out like this, just in certain areas. As I get to the ends, I'll go a little bit lighter and fan it out a little bit more, but remember that a lot of this heavy salt spillage or even grain spillage is going to be concentrated really in the center of these hatches. So, and this is years again of buildup and discoloration, so you can be pretty heavy with this. Newer cars, you want to go a little bit lighter on something like this, unless it's a very heavy example of severe car spillage or something, but in this case I'm going lighter on the ends again, and in the center I'm going pretty heavy with the buildup. You can even fan some of this out on these hatches if you like. Model some of that spillage that gets up there and dust these hatches. Now time for the fun part here. We can do some of the streaking. And in this case I'll start from the top in certain areas, and I'll start painting these streaks in. You can go either way with this. You can start from the bottom or the top, just as long as you fan these dilutions out a little bit and vary them a little bit. Some areas are going to be heavier than others, and then other streaks are going to be a little bit lighter. But I just kind of vary this up. You can also do this with acrylic. However, I like the ability to stretch these oils a little bit more than acrylic. They also last a little bit longer, and they have more of a dry time, so you can really work these in even after a while. But really work these streaks in, because the majority of what you're seeing with salt streaking and anything like that is going to be these fine streaks. So don't be afraid to work this in. And again, if you need to, set your hand on the car like this and then work down the side. It's important to note I've really let this oil set, that way I'm not getting my hand in any fresh oil or anything like that. You don't want to do this right after you've applied oils to the side, because you will take some of that off. I'm doing this after I've let most of this oil work, the existing oil work anyway, dry. Alright, time to switch up to powder work now. I'm going to be using some AIM Products Chalky White and a little bit of Monroe Models Dark Earth colored powders to do the trucks, wheels, couplers, and enhance some certain areas on the model. And I got a Citadel brush here that I use specifically for trucks. What I like to do is just come in here and I'll apply a little bit of this color on the trucks to give them a dusty, grimy look. This is a very common look for a lot of these modern trucks, so I really like to layer on these powders for these. I'm also going to take some of this and apply some of this powder at the base of these bays here. I'm going to work it up like that, but not too much. I don't want to work that color in too much. I still want that very defined patch of fresh or dusty rust. And this is where a common area where this will collect, so you can go pretty heavy with that. Maybe even bring in some lighter rust tones or anything like that, fresher rust tones. Back to the roof now. I switched, and I'm going to be using some AIM Chalky White powder to further enhance these effects by going in between these roof walks. And I'm going to be taking a thin brush, and I'm going to be applying a pretty heavy layer of this powder to, again, that center portion in between the roof walk and the hatches. But just in certain little areas where I want it to look like there's a little bit more of a heavier buildup of salt spillage. So I'm just going in here and applying this just in certain little areas, like I said. And in some cases you can even take some of this and you can add some of this paint, or powder rather, to the tops, just like this, and just add some more variety, a little bit more of a dusty, powdery effect, just like real salt spillages. Alrighty, well, here is the car now finished, and you can see in its finished state it looks really good. We got all that nice rust work, patching, detailing. There's a nice grime on the wheels and trucks there. On the end bays you got all that nice kick up, rust on the couplers, nice dust effects. There's the streaking coming out from the roof walk and the CSX patching. On the sides here you can see the placards have the lettering streaking, which looks really good. There's the patching with the new data, safety striping, which is starting to chip away. You can see all the rust pitting, salt streaking, the whole 9 yards there. There's that CSX patching, looks really good. There's that patching at the base, and then there's that wheel and truck assembly. This side looks really good. I'm really happy with that. As we look at the opposite side, we pretty much have the same thing. This side has the custom graffiti. I decided to go ahead and add a few basic tags to enhance some things and add a little bit more excitement to the car. And you can see it looks really good. There's all that salt streaking again. There's this placard, which is a lot more heavily streaked from the lettering, which looks really cool. There's the patching. And then there's this end with the data and everything all patched up. Now, my favorite part on this car is the roof. The roof came out really good with all those combined techniques, and you can see everything really came together perfectly on the roof to enhance all these details. It's spot on to what these prototypes look like, and I'm very happy with it. So hopefully the customer's happy with this car. I know I definitely am. I wish I could kind of keep it now, to be honest. But there's another prototype done, and in the bag is this CSX hopper. Alright guys, so that'll wrap up this video for now. I hope you liked this weathering tutorial on a CSX covered hopper. I will have more content coming up shortly. In the meantime, subscribe here on YouTube for more content. Follow my work on Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook page is Dan's Custom Trains, and my Instagram page is Danny Dankinson. That is all lowercase, and you can follow me there to see what kind of projects I'm working on for myself and for customers, like this covered hopper here is for a customer. So in the meantime, thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.